Ladies and gentlemen, it feels like it was just yesterday I gave you loads more cards and was like, we've probably had all the cards now. Well, no, because there's about 20 more to look through. Also, if you didn't already see my video on the starter decks, Ravensburger very kindly sent me the starter decks. So I posted a video covering all the cards in those. Check that out. Some of these cards I've not seen yet, and I'm so excited for set 4. We're just a week and a half away now. We've got a 6-cost Broom card, Rough Translation, 6-cost Inkable, 2 Strength, 6 Willpower, Resist 1, Quest for 2, and it's actually a super rare as well. This character receives +2 for each other character played Magic Broom you have in play. +2 what? +2 Strength. So that's not great, if I'm honest. These Magic Broom cards, I'm still very unimpressed by all of them, to be completely honest with you. It does seem like the Magic Broom is a big theme deck aimed at the co-op adventure, the Illuminate... What's it called? Ursula's Return. The big co-op thing. I can never quite remember the name of it, which I'm so excited for, by the way. I need to find a way to record that physically, but this card doesn't look great to me, to be honest. It's a big dude, which can have a lot of attack, with resist as well, but only questing for 2. I mean, if you compare this to Hercules from the starter deck, it's a 6/5 in steel with bodyguard that quests for 2 and it's cost 6. What would you rather play? I'd rather play the bodyguard, to be completely honest with you. So the Magic Broom decks look super lackluster still, in my opinion. There is some payoff cards, more so than this one. Like there's a Mickey Mouse card which can deal damage. There's like a wizard guy whose name I can't remember, but overall the Magic Broom still look in meme territory, but definitely a fun theme deck for the co-op adventure. I think that's really what a lot of these are aimed at, honestly. Up next we have Pete Rotten Guy. We have Pete Bad Guy already, which is a card I quite like. This one is a 4-cost Inkable, also an Emerald, 1 Strength, 5 Willpower, and it quests for 2. Mini, this is an outrage. Pete, no, it's my nefarious plan to steal the throne. Is this card good? Not really, to be completely fair. No, it's not very good. If you compare this card to Wendy Darling in Amber, which is a very good card, Wendy Darling is a 2-cost Inkable card, 1 Strength, 3 Willpower, quest for 2. So you're paying twice as much ink for 2 extra Willpower. It's a no from me. Pete Rotten Guy, more like Pete Rotten Card. I've used that joke before on Pete Bad Guy. And I actually quite like Pete Bad Guy, as it turned out. Next we have Prince Philip, Gallant Defender. This is in the starter deck. For Sapphire, I've already talked about this card a bit, but I actually got the explanation a little bit wrong on this card. Because it's actually giving, whenever you give a character support, they gain resist. So this has support itself, but it's also whenever any character gains support. So for example, if you were to have a Hey Hey on the board and you were to give Prince Philip support, he would gain resist 1 as well. Is that good? Not really. There is definitely some hero and prince synergy potentially in this set, so it's in the starter deck. I don't really expect it to see competitive play, but we'll have to wait and see. Up next, another starter deck card, Mickey Mouse, Leader of the Band. It has support, and when you play this character, chosen character gains support this turn. The Amber Amethyst starter deck has mainly a Madrigal theme, but there's also a little bit of support stuff going in there. We still really haven't seen any cards with the support keyword pop off, and then therefore an all-in support deck, it's hard to see that being competitive. Next we have Farley, which is a 1/3 in Sapphire, and this is actually an incredible card, and you might think I'm being slightly facetious there, but no, this is really good. Sapphire has a real lack of 1-drop options. This is the first 1/3 card in Sapphire. A lot of the other 1-drops in Sapphire are 2/2s, like Flounder, and I think there's an owl whose name I can't quite remember. So a 1/3 option in Sapphire, I think definitely could see some competitive play in the right deck. Not that amazing, but I mean, it's something. Up next, we have a Hades card. Here's the original. It's a 4-cost Inkable, 3 Strength, 6 Willpower, only quest for 1. So you would hope it's got a very impressive ability. It doesn't. Not going to see any play. Musketeer Captain. This one was revealed by Lorcana villain. This is a 7-cost uninkable in Amber, 3 Strength, 6 Willpower. It quests for 2, and it has Shift 5, Bodyguard, and Support as well. When you play this character, if you used Shift to play him, you may draw a card for each character with Bodyguard you have in play. So this is a really fascinating card. There's obviously a lot of different Bodyguard characters in the game, and there has already been a few Bodyguard all-in support cards. I think there's like a Little John card in set 3, which hasn't seen any play. This one, I mean, I guess the concern is that a lot of the Bodyguard characters that you're playing are not exactly that impressive in terms of stats. I mean, the most obvious deck really for an all-in bodyguard deck would be Steel and Amber, but then my concern would be, what on earth are you shifting Mickey Mouse onto? Well, there is actually a 2-cost Mickey Mouse in Steel this set, which we're going to be taking a look at in a little bit. There's also like this 4-cost Mickey Mouse we just looked at, but like you don't really want to be shifting onto a 4-cost character, do you? If you were to pair it with something else, for example with Emerald, Morph comes to mind as a really good option. There's also, of course, the 1/3 Mickey Mouse in Sapphire. That seems like the absolute best shift target. So if you can get some bodyguard cards down in Amber combined with Sapphire, that sounds like a really interesting deck. But to be honest with you, there's not really much coming to mind. Of course, there's Simba. There's also 5-cost Nani, who's like a 3/6 bodyguard that quests for 2. She's not bad. You've got Goofy and Maximus, of course, in Amber. If you were to play Just in Time, perhaps, as well, that can help those be played a little bit better. I don't believe that you can play Just in Time into a Shift character, though. So I don't think you could play Just in Time into Mickey Mouse Shift. Don't think that's possible. So the big concern I have with this card really is, what on earth are you shifting onto, right? But of course, not all the cards from the set are revealed. It looks really, really cool, though. I really like the look of the card. It's a big payoff for a lot of bodyguards. But it doesn't look great, I have to say. I don't think it's going to be great. Maybe one day, though. And maybe I'm going to be wrong. It's definitely a really exciting card, that's for sure. I like the look of it a lot. Really cool design. Also a captain, so it's got some synergy there with Smee. Nice. Okay, up next we have Lumir, Fiery Friend, 2-cost Inkable, 2 Strength, 2 Willpower, and Fervent Address is the ability your other characters get +1 Strength, and it quests for 1. The invaders are at our gates, mes amis. It's time to show them what we're made of. It's a rare, and it's going to be rarely seen in any good decks. Sorry, mate. There is there is some more powerful Lumirs. If there's like a bigger shift character, then this becomes more interesting. I don't really like it, though. I mean, it's not terrible, but like a card that you're playing on turn 2, admittedly, when you play it, it's going to instantly give your turn 1 play some extra strength. That's quite valuable, right? So your Minnie Mouse, for example, would be suddenly a 2/3. That is pretty good, but really a card that you're playing on turn 2, a lot of the time you're going to be wanting it to quest for a little bit more, and it's just going to end up sitting there. I mean, it's honestly a pretty interesting card, but if it maybe had like 1 strength and 3 willpower, so it wasn't being removed by cards like Baboom, Stormrage on, I think it would be a little bit better, for sure. Up next we have Argies, the Cyclops, whose name I probably butchered, and this is a 2-cost Inkable card in Steel. It's a Titan, 4 Strength, 1 Willpower, quest for 1. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. 4 Strength for this kind of cost is not terrible. I mean, if you compare it to Gaston from set 1, it's a 4 Strength, 2 Willpower, but it has Reckless, it can't quest. This one can quest. It's not terrible. I don't think it's going to see any play, though, but it is a Titan, so maybe some Titan decks get a bit more support here. Up next, we have a card which was revealed by my friends over on Lorcana, whose episode I recently appeared on. 3 very good friends of mine over on Lorcana. And I really like this card. I actually talked to them about this card, and they were not convinced. They were like, yeah, not really loving the reveal we've got, but I really like it. I really like this card. LeFou, Opportunistic Flunky. 3-cost Inkable, 2 Strength, 3 Willpower, quest for 1. I learned from the best. During your turn, you may play this character for free if an opposing character was banished in a challenge this turn. That seems very, very good to me, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know about you. I mean, the guys over on Lorcana, Moyen, Kawa, and Brendan, all very good players. They might have changed their opinions, but certainly when I initially spoke to them about this reveal, they weren't convinced. I haven't actually seen the episode, what they said when they spoke about it. But I think like with A Whole New World, for example, right? This is just free money. It's a 3-cost card as well. So in a Steel Amethyst deck in particular, where you've got an abundance of card draw with things like Rabbit, you can sing Friends with this guy. That just sounds like absolute value to me. I think this card's really good. I really like this card. I like it a lot. I mean, it's not going to be in every deck, but in the right deck, oof. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's really good. You definitely need a lot of card draw for it to be good, though, right? So A Whole New World or Amethyst, probably. Amethyst to sing Friends. That sounds nice. All right, up next we have Flotsam and Jetsam Entangled Eels. I feel like we've seen this card already. I feel like I seen this card like a week or two ago, but it's been put in the reveals Discord that I'm using, and this is a 6-cost inkable, 5 strength, 5 willpower, shift, discard 2 cards. Yeah, I'm sure we've already seen this card, but we'll talk about it again because it's a very, very interesting one. So this is the new shift mechanic where instead of paying a cost to shift onto either Flotsam or Jetsam, also important to note, I think this is the first card outside of Morph which can actually shift onto 2 different characters. So instead of paying, for example, shift 3 or shift 4, you discard 2 cards to shift it on, which is pretty interesting. And this character counts as being named both Flotsam and Jetsam. So there's obviously a bunch of Flotsam and Jetsam cards in Amethyst and Emerald. Of course, you've also got Morph in there, which you could shift this onto. And there's a bunch of new ones in this set as well. And honestly, some of them look really good. So like an all-in Flotsam Jetsam deck is looking like a possibility. I would actually love to see an enchanted version of this. That would be pretty cool. I like this card. I'm very excited to try Flotsam Jetsam for sure. And next we have a card which is in the starter deck as well. And it is One Last Hope. So I've actually got this card myself. I have 1 copy of it. I've played it against myself. Chosen character gains resist 2 until the start of your next turn. If a hero character is chosen, they may also challenge ready characters this turn. Damage dealt to them is reduced by 2. So obviously if you've got a hero, this becomes a lot more interesting. A way of dealing damage to readied characters is nothing to smirk at. Also gaining resist 2 if you're trouble. It's an interesting card for sure. Obviously, it's a song, so maybe if you could play it with Ariel, for example. Also, your 1-drop Cinderella could sing this as well in an Amber Steel song setup. The question is, how many heroes are there in the game, really? And the answer is, there's a lot of them. So, while I definitely don't see this card being played like 3 or 4 copies, not even 2, I think it's like a one-off in the right deck. It could see some play. It's definitely an interesting one to keep an eye on. The next card, we need to zoom in. And this card's so cool, mate. I love this card. This is a little bit of me. Golden Harp, 1 cost, inkable that quests for 2. You guys know me. I love my aggro decks. And a 1/4 stat line on turn 1, which quests for 2, is mind-blowing. And her flavor text is very fitting because it's you'll miss her when she's gone. And her ability is stolen away. At the end of your turn, if you didn't play a song this turn, banish this character. Okay, there it is. All right. So I don't think there's any 0-cost songs in the game. So it's not a card you're going to be wanting to play on turn 1 unless you like sacrificing your cards for no reason. Very, very interesting, though. In a deck which wants to go very wide later on in the game, which there's definitely some. So, for example, maybe like an Amber Amethyst deck, or maybe like an Amber Emerald deck where you've got Ursula, Deceiver of All, wanting to sing lots of songs. You could put the Golden Harp down on turn 4 when you sing with Ursula, and then you can sing a song again the next turn, and then suddenly she's questing for 2. But you need to sing a song the turn she's played, and then sing a song every turn she remains on the board. So you're going to need a lot of songs, that's for sure. So definitely a weird one, but I really do like the look of it. Any deck which can afford to go very wide, kind of like turn 4, turn 5, can absolutely make use of this card. Super interesting. I really like it. Very cool design. And next we have another starter deck card, and it's Augustine Madrigal, the Clumsy Dad. Falling for Julieta was the easiest thing he'd ever done. Yeah, okay, sure. And next we have Imperial Bow. Oh, guys, I've had a nightmare. This card is going to haunt me forever. So, because I have the starter decks, I played against myself with them, and I read this card wrong. And I played like 5 games with this card using it wrong. It's a little bit embarrassing. So this card reads, it's a 2-cost inkable item, and you can exert it and spend 1 ink, and a chosen hero character gains Challenger +2 and Evasive this turn. I may have misread that and thought it said like gain Evasive until your next turn. So I was using like Imperial Bow on my Auroras and my Arnas and questing with them as evasives. Yeah, that's not how it works. So this card is so much worse than I thought. And the thing is, I realized like after I'd already uploaded my video, someone commented in it. I was like, oh no, it's too late to take the video down. Stinker. Is it good? I mean, it's not bad, honestly. It's not bad. There's a lot of heroes. Challenger or evasive. It's probably a little bit expensive though. I mean, if it gave you evasive for your opponent's turn, oh my goodness, it would be giga good. Which is why I was so excited about the deck. I'm so sorry. I'll do better at reading cards. Really, the moral of the story here is I need someone to play Lorcana with so they can read the cards for me. All right, up next we have Tuk Tuk. That's what chat's for usually, right? I need chat for this kind of thing. A 3-cost Inkable. It's 2 strength, 3 willpower, and has evasive. And the ability on a roll is when you play this character, you may move him and one of your other characters to the same location for free. The other character gets +2 strength this turn, and it quests for 1. Do you know what? I think this card is good. I think this card might be really good, actually. I think this card might be really, really good. There's a few locations in the game which cost quite a lot to get there, and therefore have not really seen any play. But 4 copies of Tuk Tuk in an aggressive location deck. Of course, you've got Jim Hawkins as well in Ruby. If you could maybe go Ruby with Steel, so you get a whole new world access, perhaps for lots of card draw, or maybe Ruby with Amethyst for lots of card draw, because we know that Ruby really struggles with card draw. Like a very aggressive deck with lots of locations. I think this card could be really good. I really, really do. I mean, even if you're just playing like 4 copies of a single location, which you really like there's this 2-cost location that like if you have a character there in Ruby, or like if you banish something in a challenge in Ruby, you gain lore. Tuk Tuk's going to be great with that. Like you could move Maui in there, for example, right? And then bam! I think this could be really good. I think this could be really, really, really good. So very low res image. I actually think both of these have cleaner images in just a second. Mrs. Potts, we'll look at first. 4-cost Inkable. 3/4 stat line, quest for 2. Pretty good stat line overall. If her ability's good, she's very good. When you play this character, if you have a character named Lumiere or Cogsworth in play, you may draw a card. I think we looked at this card already. Cogsworth, Mrs. Potts, Amethyst, Sapphire, Synergy. Amethyst, Sapphire, definitely an underrated deck in the current meta. And this is a pretty cool card for that as well. Yeah, here's the higher res Megara as well. The Liberated one. 5-cost Inkable in Emerald. She has 4 strength, 4 willpower. She quests for 2. And she has Ward. Wow. Is there a downside? Whenever you play a character named Hercules, you may ready this character. That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I mean, it's a very impressive stat line, to be fair, for a Ward card. She does only quest for 2. I mean, if you compare her to Kuzco, of course, quests for 3, and of course has that extra very powerful ability of if it's banished by another character, then that character is banished themselves. But of course, Kuzco is uninkable. This is inkable, which is obviously a huge advantage over Kuzco. And with that extra bit of Hercules synergy, it's not good enough without the Hercules synergy, but with the Hercules synergy, it could be very, very good. There's a few Hercules cards in this set. So, Emerald Steel deck with Megara and Hercules. I mean, realistically, Emerald Steel, there's probably better stuff to play, right? Like if the Hercules, if you get a lot of Hercules in different colors, we're looking at a Hercules later on in this video, which is in Ruby. So maybe like an Emerald Ruby deck, maybe. I think it might be a little bit lacking, but definitely want to keep an eye on as more Hercules cards are printed. And we've got some terribly, terribly bad quality images here, but these are the best I can find. Triton, which is a 3-cost uninkable 3/3. Exert. Alright, Triton is exert, banish one of your items, and gain 3 lore. I mean, that's not bad. 3 lore for an item. Definitely nothing to smirk at. There's also a shift Triton we're going to be taking a look at in a bit. And the Cinderella, a legendary 5-cost inkable, 1 strength, 5 willpower. Singer 9, quest for 2. Whenever this character sings a song, your other princess characters get 1 lore this turn. I mean, that is an absolute unit of a card. Singer 9 with the Sing Together cards is nothing to smirk at. And also potential lore gain. Of course, worth mentioning that if you're singing with her, you're not questing with her. I don't know if it's actually great. It's definitely very, very interesting. I think I prefer the look of the 4-cost Ariel, which is Singer 7. And quest for 2. That card's also in the starter deck, so it's going to be a bit cheaper. But Cinderella and Ariel as very expensive Singer cards are really cool to see for sure. Next we have Sisu, which is an 8-cost uninkable, very expensive for an uninkable, in Ruby. 5 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 3, and it has shift 6. And there are already a few Sisu cards in the game, but most of them are not very good. And the ability is let me handle this. When you play this character, banish all opposing characters with 2 strength or less. And there's a lot of synergy potentially with this card with other cards in the game. Like there's like a Rockstar Stitch DJ set, which is like whenever you play a song, you can lower your opponent's cards by 2 strength. There is also a song which is very similar to Sisu in Emerald, a Sing Together 8 song, I believe it is, which returns all characters with 2 strength or less to the bottom of your opponent's deck. So this is like that, but with a big body. Is this card good? Honestly, it's very powerful potentially, but as an 8 cost uninkable in Ruby, you've got other cards like Tremaine and Medusa. Would you rather be playing those or this? I think you'd rather be playing Tremaine and Medusa, to be fair. But maybe a card you could play 1 copy of. And of course, if there's good Sisu shift targets or Floodborn synergy, it could be pretty interesting. So Morph is worth a mention, of course, as well. Definitely an interesting one. Up next, we have a 1-cost action card in Sapphire, which is in French, but roughly translates to choose an item and banish it, and that player gains 2 lore. I bet you didn't know I could speak French. I can't. I just memorized it. Up next, we have a Broom in Amethyst, E3 cost inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower. Quest for 1 is so bad. This card could quest for 2. Come on. It would still not even be that good. Another Bodyguard, this one in Amber, also in the starter deck. I think there's 2 copies of it. 3 cost, 3 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 1. Not very good. Definitely worse than Simba, that's for sure. For 1 extra ink, you gain 1 strength. That ain't it, mate. Next we have the Mickey Mouse Standard Bearer, which is also in the starter deck. This might be a good shift target for that Mickey Mouse we looked at a little bit earlier. 1 strength, 3 willpower, and when you play this character, it gives Challenger 2 to another character, and it quests for 1. I bet you didn't know I could speak French. No, that's just because I actually used this card myself already. Look at that rough translation there if you want to pause. Up next we have Prince Philip. I haven't seen this card, but I've seen people losing their minds over it a little bit. It's in Emerald. It's 9 cost inkable, 6 strength, 6 willpower, shift 6, and it quests for 3. Of course, also worth mentioning, Morph is a card that does exist. And let's see the rough translation. Elusive or evasive. Oh my goodness, it's evasive. That's insane. Okay, 6/6 evasive? Brother. Hit the heart. When you play this character, ban all opposing characters, banish all opposing characters with at least 1 damage token. Oh? Okay, so this card is a 6/6 evasive that quests for 3, and you banish all opposing characters with 1 damage token when it enters play. Damn, son. Imagine a little Tinkerbell on turn 6 with Morph in the deck as well, and then Prince Philip comes through afterwards. Oh my goodness, that is insane. Emerald Steel, baby. Emerald Steel, baby. All right, up next, we have Pluto. This one is a 5 cost inkable, 4 strength, 5 willpower. Quest for 2. And it does some kind of healing. You can withdraw up to 3 damage tokens from one of your characters. So you can heal 3 health. So it's kind of like a worse Rapunzel. A much worse Rapunzel, but a lot cheaper, I'm sure. Up next, another starter deck card. We have the Transform Chef. It's a 4 cost inkable, 3 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 2. When you play this character, choose a character and remove up to 2 damage tokens from them. Not going to see any play, but it's in the starter deck. Pegasus. This one is a Pegasus in Ruby. Important to note, there's 2 other Pegasus cards we've seen so far. One is in Emerald, and it's still my top contender for best card of this whole set, which is a 1 cost, 1 strength, 1 willpower card, which quests for 1 and has evasive. It's like Pascal in Emerald, but it's just always evasive. But also, more importantly, for this one, there is a 5 cost Shift Pegasus, which is a 3 strength, 3 willpower card, which has Shift 3, and it costs 5. Inkable, and if you shift it in, all your other characters gain evasive for that turn. So this is a really nice shift target for that Pegasus, because you don't really want to shift the big Pegasus into a 1-drop evasive Pegasus, because the 1-drop evasive Pegasus is pretty difficult for your opponent to deal with, most likely. Whereas this Pegasus can be a nice card to have as an option. It can, of course, deal with cards like Minnie Mouse Surfer, and then bang, on turn 3, the turn after you play this, you have the option of shifting in your big Pegasus to start gaining some evasive lore. I think this card could be very good in a Ruby Emerald deck. And Ruby Emerald is a deck I really want to be good, so here's hoping. All right, here's the Triton I was mentioning, because we did see a Triton earlier, which is the 3-cost uninkable. If you exert it, banish an item, and that play gains 2 lore, I believe it was, or 3 lore. This one, Champion of Atlantica. It is a 7 strength, 9 willpower card, which quests for 3, shift 6, and the ability, and it's a legendary. Oh my goodness. Imposing Presence. Opposing characters get -1 strength for each location you have in play. What? That's it? That's it? That's it? I was so excited. I was ready to be blown away by an amazing ability, but no, that's just not very good. Basically, what this card reads is, it's a 7 strength card with 9 power and quest for 3. That's me being a little bit rude, but it's not really doing much, is it? How many locations are you really going to have in play? Not many, probably. I don't know, mate. I don't think this card's any good, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong. Locations definitely are interesting, this set, but... Nah, it's too expensive, right? It's just too expensive. It's not doing enough. Like, to play a card this expensive, that means that you're not playing other cards like Tamatoa and all this kind of stuff. Would you rather have a Tamatoa or this? Unless the King tag is going to be worth a fortune in the future, then maybe we can talk. All right, this card's super interesting. Megara, Captivating Cynic. 3-cost, uninkable, 3 strength, 6 willpower, and quest for 2. That is a mind-blowingly good stat line. 6 willpower at 3 cost. That might be the most willpower there is in the whole game for a character which costs 3 or less. When you play this character, choose and discard a card or banish this character. Well, you're not going to banish this character, so you're going to have to choose and discard a card. It doesn't specify if it's one of your own cards or one of your opponent's cards, but I think it's fairly safe to assume that it is one of your own cards. Otherwise, this card would be the best card in the game. So yeah, you're going to have to play this and discard one of your own cards. A little bit of Tiana synergy there, potentially. Also in a Emerald Steel deck with a whole new world, which seems to be the thing that I always mention. At the moment, I don't believe there's any cards in the game which read like, if you discard this card, summon self, which there's cards like that in Gwent and in Marvel Snap as well. But so far, no card like that in the game, but that's a potential bit of synergy to look out for. I think this card could be pretty good anyway. In an aggressive deck, you sacrifice 1 card in hand for some extra stats on the board. Interesting. Being uninkable is my big concern, right? Like, if you've maybe got cards like Strike a Good Match, for example, where you could discard the Megara yourself. Otherwise, like, imagine her off the top. You're like, okay, I draw my Megara. Uh-oh. I have no cards in hand, so I have to wait a whole turn, and then I can play my Megara. The fact she's uninkable probably means she's not very good. It's very interesting, though. It's a super interesting card for sure. And next we have Gus, the Champion of Cheese. Well, that's a great name. 10 out of 10. It's a Simba without bodyguard, so that's not very good, is it? But he is the Champion of Cheese, so that's pretty cool. Up next we have Hera, the Queen of Gods. Not quite as cool of a name. I have no idea who this character is, but she's a queen deity. She's 3-cost inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower. She quests for 2, and she has Ward, Protective Goddess. Your characters named Zeus gain Ward. I guess I've exposed myself for not knowing Greek mythology. And you're a true hero. Your characters named Hercules gain Evasive. So a Zeus, Hercules, synergy payoff card. I mean, she's got Ward. She quests for 2, so she's kind of like similar stat line to Prince John, but being inkable. 1 extra health. Or willpower, I should say. Not exactly many good Zeus cards, are there, really? Let's be honest. That's probably a big issue. We did see another card that had some Hercules payoff. I think it was like a Megara. So that's kind of interesting. I don't think it's very good, though, but maybe one day. Up next, Hercules, the Daring Demigod. It's a 5-cost, uninkable, 7 strength, 3 willpower, rush, reckless. It's Maui. Do you want to play 5 Mauis? Well, now you can. With 4 Mauis and 1 Hercules Daring Demigod. Is this card good? Yes. This card's absolutely insane. Is it as good as Maui? No, it's so much worse than Maui, but Maui is that good. This card will see play. 7 strength rush. Oh my goodness, that's insane. Again, I think this is just like a card where if you just want to play a 5th Maui, you just put him in the deck. Ink the Maui, play the Hercules. You're not too unhappy about that. Obviously, this has 1 extra strength, 1 less willpower. The biggest downside is it's uninkable. And Maui has Reckless anyway? Does Maui have Reckless? I don't know. I'm not sure. Beast, Thick Skin, 3-cost inkable, 2 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 1, and it has resist 1. He's even tougher than he looks. There's a bit of a weird art, isn't it? I quite like the art. It's just a bit different. The card's not very good, though. Next we have Aurora, also a starter deck card. 2 cost inkable, 1 strength, 3 willpower. She has ward. She quests for 1. She's bad. However, she's a good shift target for the 5-drop Aurora. But no, I don't think so, mate. Next we have Ariel, Determined Mermaid, also in the starter deck. 3 cost inkable, 2 strength, 4 willpower, 1 lore. When you play a song, you may draw a card and choose and discard a card. She's pants. She's no good. We have another starter deck card, Antonio Madrigal, the Animal Expert. 3 strength, 4 willpower, quest for 1. Not very good. It's fine. Li Shang, another starter deck card. 5 strength, 5 willpower, quest for 2. Not any good. Next we have Milan. 3 strength, 6 willpower, quest for 1. Also not any good. Pascal, another starter deck card that's no good. 3 strength, 3 willpower, quest for 1. When you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. We have another starter deck card, which is also not any good. It's a 6 cost inkable Sisu, 6 strength, 6 willpower, quest for 2. And finally, last but not least, we have another starter deck card. And guess what? This one's actually pretty good. This is a rare card. You get 1 copy of it in the Sapphire Amethyst? No, Sapphire Steel deck. She is a hero, and there's some hero synergy in that starter deck. She has 3 strength, 5 willpower, quest for 3. While you have a character named Pascal in play, this character gains ward. So definitely interested in a Amethyst Sapphire deck with Rapunzel and the 1-drop Pascal, because the 1-drop Pascal is really good, and I actually think it gets better this set, because I would imagine the 1-drop Pegasus, the 1-drop Evasive Pegasus, is going to be incredibly common, and therefore lots of decks are going to have to come up with ways of dealing with that card, and Pascal is a very obvious way of doing it, and Pascal's a great card within its own right as well. So Rapunzel, appreciative artist, gets a big thumbs up from me. I think it's going to be really good. I like the card a lot. Yep. That was a lot of cards to get through, ladies and gentlemen. But thanks so much for watching the video. Super excited to see them all revealed in the next few days. We're getting closer to having all of the set revealed, and then we can start doing some tier lists on each of the ink colors and start theory crafting and building decks, because there's going to be so many streams ahead of the set release where I'm just going to be sat in the deck builder building 100 different decks. So I hope you're excited, because reveal season is almost over and it's time to start building some decks very, very soon. Give the video a like if you watched it this far. And if you did, Pascal, a new flower for the wall is what you can write in the comments to let me know you watched the whole thing. Thanks so much. See you very soon. Bye.